Have you ever stopped to wonder if our world is moving in the right direction? Are we truly creating a livable and just society for ourselves and future generations? Unfortunately, the answer seems to be a resounding no. In fact, we have failed to meet 8 of the 9 benchmarks for a livable and just world. In this video, we will take a closer look at these benchmarks and the consequences of our failure and seek answers to this critical question. Unfortunately, both the Earth and humanity are under great threat. Our consumerism is destroying the interconnected systems that ensure the existence of a habitable planet. Like dominoes, every damage we inflict on our planet triggers others. Many studies in the past have shown us how endangered our planet is. A new study published in the journal Nature tackled the issue from a different angle. 40 scientists from around the world set 9 limits for a habitable and fair planet. Unfortunately, our Earth has exceeded 8 of these limits. So what can we do in this situation? What can we do for a habitable and just planet? 1. Climate change. At the top of the list is the most pressing challenge of our time: climate change. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence, we have failed to take adequate measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. As a result, we are experiencing more frequent and intense extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and biodiversity loss. The consequences for both humans and other living things are dire. 2. Biodiversity loss. Our failure to protect biodiversity is closely linked to climate change. Deforestation, habitat destruction, and overuse of natural resources have led to the extinction of countless plant and animal species. Biodiversity loss not only degrades ecosystems, but also threatens our own survival by reducing food security and jeopardizing the resilience of our natural systems. 3. Land use. The way we use land has a significant impact on the environment and social justice. Our current practices, such as deforestation for agriculture and urbanization, lead to land degradation, water scarcity, and displacement of indigenous communities. These unsustainable land use patterns perpetuate inequality and prevent us from moving towards a more just world. 4. Freshwater use. Freshwater is the basic source of life and is needed by all living organisms. It is used in many areas such as drinking water, irrigation, industry, and energy production. However, freshwater resources are finite, and human activities put enormous pressure on these resources. Factors such as population growth, pollution, climate change, and excessive water use are contributing to increasing freshwater scarcity. 5. Nitrogen and phosphorus cycle. Nitrogen and phosphorus are essential components of life and are used by all living organisms. Plants need nitrogen for photosynthesis, and animals need both nitrogen and phosphorus for protein synthesis. Naturally, nitrogen and phosphorus cycles ensure that these elements are constantly moving between the atmosphere, soil, water, and living organisms. However, human activities significantly alter these cycles. Factors such as the use of fertilizers, the burning of fossil fuels, and the lack of wastewater treatment plants lead to excessive releases of nitrogen and phosphorus into the environment. This leads to various negative consequences. 6. Air pollution. Air pollution is one of the biggest environmental health problems of our time. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, 7 million people die every year due to air pollution. This is more than the number of people killed in traffic accidents. Air pollution causes many health problems such as heart disease, stroke, cancer, respiratory diseases, and allergies. 7. Ocean acidification. Ocean acidification is the decrease in the pH level of the oceans due to CO2 being absorbed by the increasing concentration of carbon dioxide, CO2, in the atmosphere. The pH value, which has fallen by 0.1 units from pre-industrial levels, has significantly disrupted the chemical balance of the oceans. This disruption poses a major threat to marine organisms and marine ecosystems. 8. Chemicals. Chemicals are woven into the fabric of modern life, a reality that we encounter in every aspect of our daily lives. It is possible to find traces of chemicals in everything from the products we use, to the clothes we wear, to the food we eat. However, some of these chemicals pose unacceptable risks to human and environmental health. This group, called pollutant chemicals, exists as an invisible threat and spreads its harm unnoticed. 9. Aerosols. Aerosols are a system of solid or liquid particles suspended in the air. These particles can be of natural origin or man-made. Natural aerosols include sea salt, volcanic ash, dust, and pollen. Man-made aerosols include exhaust emissions, industrial emissions, and smog. The risks posed by aerosols to human health and the climate system cannot be ignored. Urgent steps need to be taken to address these risks. The devastating effects of the climate crisis are felt in all areas, from the atmosphere to the biosphere, from water resources to the food cycle. As we struggle to solve this global problem, one factor that cannot be ignored is the phenomenon of injustice. The use of aerosols is an important factor that damages the atmosphere. But when we look at the consequences of this pollution, we see an unfair picture. The groups that release the most aerosols into the atmosphere are the least affected by this pollution, while those who use the least aerosols suffer the most. Developed countries emit the most greenhouse gases and aerosols into the atmosphere. These countries are among the least affected by global warming and air pollution, while developing countries face the most severe consequences of this crisis. Wealthier people cause more pollution through higher private car use, higher energy consumption, and higher meat consumption. But it is the poor and disadvantaged who suffer the most from the health and environmental impacts of this pollution. Future generations will bear the greatest burden of today's pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. This runs counter to our responsibility to leave a just world legacy. The idea of safe planetary boundaries was proposed in 2009 by climate scientist Johan Rockström from the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research and his team. Initial studies examined under which biophysical conditions the Earth could safely exist. But in their newly published study, Rockström and his team also incorporated the concept of justice into the model. In this way, social aspects such as people's access to water, energy, clean environment, and health facilities were also taken into account. The study argues that justice is a necessity for humanity to live within planetary boundaries. This justice is characterized as a scientific imperative rather than a political demand. Without a just and equitable approach, it is not possible to live on a biophysically safe planet. The study dramatically confirms what we already know, that we do not live in a just world. A just model of planetary boundaries has to encompass not only environmental sustainability, but also social justice. Borders for a livable and just world. Where are we? What should we do? Scientists argue that to build a safe and fair planet for all, the warming limit should be limited to 1 degree Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This is lower than the current situation. By 2023, the global average temperature has risen to 1.2 degrees. When the 1.5 degree warming limit agreed in the Paris Climate Agreement is reached, around 200 million people will be exposed to extreme heat. In the longer term, 500 million people will be affected by sea level rise. This is too big a risk to ignore. Scientists have also set limits for many other factors, such as climate, biodiversity, water, air, and soil pollution. Unfortunately, the results are alarming. We have already exceeded some limits. If we don't take action in time, we could face irreversible consequences. The study also looks at the use of phosphorus and nitrogen. These elements enter the soil through agriculture, and too much is harmful to both humans and animals. Excess phosphorus and nitrogen can lead to water pollution and excessive algae growth, which can kill aquatic life. Earlier this year, scientists warned about the overuse of phosphorus as a fertilizer. Rapidly dwindling phosphorus supplies could lead to a catastrophe dubbed phosphageddon. Our Earth is made up of a myriad of tightly interconnected systems. These systems interact in complex ways to maintain the balance of our planet. Therefore, a change in one part of the Earth can have different effects elsewhere. For example, deforestation can cause changes not only in the region, but also in the global climate. Likewise, excessive water use can affect not only water resources, but also agriculture and food production. Of course, correcting the mistakes we have made will not be easy. There are many wrong practices that have been going on for many years and are destabilizing our planet. It will take time, effort, and resources to change these practices and move towards a sustainable future. But this is where the limits set by scientists can give us some guidance. These limits set the maximum impact that the Earth can withstand and the limits of the damage that human activities can cause on our planet. Based on these limits, we can take steps to correct our mistakes and move towards a more sustainable future. There are 9 limits for a livable and just world, and unfortunately we have failed 8 of them. While this is worrying, there is still hope. Let's not forget that humanity has managed to overcome many challenges throughout its history. Let's not forget there is always hope. If we all do our part, we can build a better world. What measures do you take in this regard? Please share with us in the comments. As we come to the end of this video, we would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you enjoyed the content and information we shared with you. If you did, please click the like button below. Your positive feedback motivates us to create more informative and engaging content. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. By subscribing to our channel, you become an active member of our community. Your participation inspires us to create more content that matches your interests and preferences. So thank you for being part of our community. Hope to see you in our next video. Take care and goodbye.